Girls on reality TV can get kinda crazy sometimes, like this one, who went way too far by hitting people and even spitting on them. But one of them wasn't putting up with her drama.
2 seconds later.
Блин, ну это вообще уже жестко.
Ну как?
This next student thought he was ready to take on the MMA coach, but the instructor quickly reminded him just how big the skill gap really was. This guy let his dumb impulses take over, but little did he know, the waitress wasn't just any ordinary girl. The way she pulled him into the wall was straight up badass. This next shirtless dude challenged a BJJ fighter to a street fight, thinking his size alone would be enough to handle his smaller opponent. But after a tense ground and pound exchange, the BJJ guy put him to sleep, while still making sure the big guy didn't end up seriously hurt. This next girl was enjoying her workout when, out of nowhere, a guy barged into the gym and started messing with her. However, she wasn't one to back down. She reversed him into a headlock and locked him into a brutal chokehold, all while calling 911. Talk about badass under pressure. So there's this drunk dude who straight up slapped a girl's ass right in front of her boyfriend. He didn't give two shits about what he'd just done, but the boyfriend definitely did. And let's just say he made sure the guy instantly regretted messing around like that. This girl got herself into serious trouble, even though it was clear she had no shot against the guy.
Oh, that's over.
Never drop your guard until the fight's actually over, no matter how well you're doing. This one dude was dominating the whole match, but then he got a little too full of himself and started mocking his opponent, completely letting his guard down. Just a couple of clean shots later, his opponent landed a nasty combo that wiped that smug look right off his face. Then there's this woman who really had what it took to beat a man. That flying armbar got the job done in an instant. Another cocky dude kept taunting his opponent even after taking heavy punches, only to get knocked out seconds later. In one of the worst mismatches ever, a yellow belt, for some foolish reason, decided to take on a black belt, and the black belt landed perfect punches and kicks, sending the guy crashing down.
Oh my God!
Oh, who are you?
What was supposed to be a friendly sparring session quickly turned into a heated exchange after this guy threw a couple of cheap shots. From that moment on, it was a whole different vibe. His opponent switched gears fast and gave the troublemaker a real taste of what proper punches feel like. Another internet troll used to mock Paddy Pimblett to the point that when they actually sparred, Paddy locked him in a chokehold and refused to let go. So much so that several onlookers had to step in and pull Paddy off the troll.
He's tapping, hey!
Some people are all talk and no action, just like this clown who kept mocking Marab from the stands. But the second Marab actually walked up to confront him, the dude probably shit his pants. This girl tried to mess with her drunk boyfriend, but a box of nachos was all it took to drop her, all while the guy held his beer like a boss the whole time. You really can't get over the stupidity of some folks, like this guy who seriously thought a week of training was enough to stand a chance against a pro MMA fighter. Safe to say, he got the shit smacked out of him and learned real quick that just confidence doesn't mean much in the cage.
Алдында сен маған не айтқан едің? Инстаграмда?
Тісің туралы айтқанша?
Чё?
Тісің туралы айтқанша?
After this guy mocked the female actor's teeth live on TV, she got absolutely furious.
Брат, нырок, делай!
In what might be one of the dumbest decisions ever, this thief decided to hide in a UFC fighter's driveway. And to make things even worse, it just so happened to be Sean Strickland's. The way he walks out just tells me he was just waiting for someone to f**k with him.
Aikido is better than Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
After this guy talked way too much trash, claiming Aikido was better than Jiu-Jitsu, one guy made sure he'd never say that again. In one of the most satisfying knockouts ever, this guy was slipping punches and showing off like he was untouchable, dancing around, taunting his opponent, and putting on a whole performance. But karma wasn't having it. Just moments later, he took a brutal shot that instantly wiped the cocky grin off his face. This guy was interviewing Sean O'Malley when he suddenly decided to throw punches, way too confident in his own skills.
How long would it take you to maybe tap out?
10 seconds.
I think I would do 30 seconds.
No.
What was that, 5?
This girl got slapped so hard that her race changed instantly. This MMA fighter tried to get slick with a fake out, but ended up getting knocked out instead. So this guy, after learning a few basic combos, really thought he had it all figured out and decided to challenge the master himself. The master struggled a bit at first, but then out of nowhere, he landed a brutal combo that knocked the student out cold. Then there's this guy who traveled for hours to challenge an MMA coach at his gym, but all he ended up doing was getting knocked down 3 times in a row. Then there were these guys who took things way too far, pranking someone into trying to bench 315 pounds for a $1,000 bet, only to back off and leave him hanging the moment he got stuck under the weight. The furious guy quickly made the pranksters learn their lesson.
Hey, it's a prank, it's a prank!
You wouldn't challenge Michael Jordan to a trick shot contest, so why do people think they stand a chance against trained fighters who've spent years perfecting their craft? When it comes to throwing hands, some folks seriously overestimate their abilities.
Oh, God, Garrett. This was a bad idea.
This guy who was half the size of his opponent but twice as sharp, proving once and for all that technique beats size every time. This next guy really thought he could blow a horn into someone's ear and get away with it by calling it a prank. We've all dealt with that one annoying guy on a plane, and when Mike Tyson had to deal with one, he handled it the classic Tyson way.
Hey, Mike.
A few minutes later.
That blue net flight, and boy just got beat up by Mike Tyson.
Shannon Briggs, a boxer, kept annoying Vladimir, another boxing champ, non-stop. But things took a turn when Briggs snatched Vladimir's lunch. Vladimir wasn't having it and splashed water on him, and a brawl ensued shortly after. Another one of those bullies was begging for a street fight, and when he finally got one, he got completely humbled. So this jacked dude walks into an MMA gym and starts trash-talking everyone like he's the real deal. One of the fighters there finally steps up and takes the challenge, and honestly, it turned out to be a total cakewalk. The bodybuilder might have thought he looked flashy with his moves, but it only took one clean uppercut to put him out cold. So this dude in the black tank top used to bully a kid back in the day, but that kid grew up to become a pro boxer. And when they finally stepped into the ring, the roles flipped real quick. The bully was still running his mouth, but with every punch he ate, it felt like he was the one getting bullied now. It was a sweet payback.
Alright.
Even the world's strongest man himself, Eddie Hall, found out the hard way when he tried his hand against a real fighter. The guy handed his ass to him real quick.
That was a good one.
And if that wasn't enough, his reputation took an even bigger hit. He got dropped by a kickboxer and even struggled taking a hit with a kid.
There we go, boy!
I mean, she doesn't know that I've been in street fights.
How many street fights have you been in?
Like 5 or 6.
This next gym girl was riding high on confidence and figured she could handle a pro grappler. Her opponent may have looked smaller, but her skills were on a whole different level.
She's got her in an armbar.
This street fighter walked into an MMA gym acting all delusional, but his luck ran out in a matter of seconds.
And we're done. You're gonna come here.
Next, we've got a bodybuilder stepping into the ring with a Korean MMA fighter. He landed a few body shots, but they didn't do a thing. Within seconds, he realized he was completely out of his league. This next girl really thought she could smack a guy and walk away with it, just because she's a woman. When this bodybuilder tried to mess with Francis Ngannou, this was his reaction.
My sister hit harder than that.
But Francis only used 10% of his power, and the bodybuilder regretted every second that led him to that moment. This may not exactly fit here, but it's definitely funny as hell. These tough guys are all bark and no bite, and none of them can seem to back it up. Then there's this guy and his girlfriend who got into an argument with Joe, and the guy figured he could settle it with his fists.
Oh my God!
And then all of a sudden they start going at it. Hey. And we have to go.
Another so-called karate guy turned out to be just a punk when he stepped up to a real powerhouse. He got tossed around like a rag doll, and all that flashy martial arts attitude disappeared real quick.
Who wants some?
This guy walked into a jiu-jitsu gym thinking his muscles made him unstoppable. He decided to pick a fight with a female fighter and even started talking trash before the match.
Girl, come on, man. You want to do my business?
But just a few seconds in, she silenced him with a perfect takedown and a tight chokehold. Another one of those wannabe challengers walked into an MMA gym and started randomly throwing punches without any real technique, but one body shot was enough to drop him for good. Then we have the Nafati brothers, who seem to have taken their TikTok mockery a bit too far when they slapped Eddie Hall in the face, and Eddie obviously wasn't about to let it slide and took his revenge in the ring. That slap earned him a knockout from the depths of hell. Then we have Brolio Rodriguez, a guy who seriously thought he was on Muhammad Ali's level. Sure, his footwork had a little flair, but his ego and arrogance were on a whole different level. He had a habit of mocking his opponents mid-fight, showboating like he was untouchable, and he pulled this stunt in almost every bout. But one day he ran into the wrong opponent, and let's just say, the showboating didn't slide.
And Rodriguez goes down.
Danced like a butterfly, dropped like a rock, knocked out in 3 and totally in shock.
And down he goes.
We've already proven that any kind of beatdown will not break us, but our training will simply just end your career, Sean.
This next guy, a Navy SEAL, claimed that SEAL training is way tougher than MMA, and even went as far as saying that the weakest SEAL could take down someone like Sean Strickland.
Well, here I am. The weakest SEAL that has ever been created would destroy you in a street fight.
Are you sure about that?
But when Sean actually agreed to spar, it was a whole different story. He toyed with the SEAL in the ring, dominating from start to finish. By the end, it felt like Sean had knocked the fight and the confidence right out of him.
Oh, that team got him. Oh, I got him.
This next guy, Caleb Plant, is pretty well known for his cocky attitude and dirty antics, both inside and outside the ring, totally disrespecting the spirit of the sport. But he definitely crossed a line when he tried to slap the GOAT himself, Canelo Alvarez.
Don't get paid.
Let's just say Canelo made sure Caleb paid for every bit of that arrogance once they stepped into the ring.
Plant might have gotten hurt. Right uppercut, down goes Plant for the first time in the fight.
This Asian guy was a legit street fighter, and in his first ever MMA match, he showed exactly why.
Carissa, who's next?
Dude came in swinging and proved he wasn't there to play around. Another guy who claimed to have skills like Jackie Chan walked in full of confidence, thinking he'd flip, kick, and dodge like a movie star. But the moment the bell rang, he got tossed around like a prop in one of Jackie's blooper reels.
5, 4,
This next guy, Jerome Banner, had a reputation for delivering brutal one-punch knockouts, finishing almost all his opponents with a single shot, and sometimes even using cheap tricks to get the job done. But then came Mark Hunt, a fighter known for having an invincible chin. What followed was an intense back-and-forth war, with both guys trading some seriously heavy shots. But in the end, Mark had the last laugh, dropping Banner with a vicious combo that sealed the deal. Then there's this reality show champ who got way too cocky and thought he could take on a retired boxing legend. But within seconds, he was on the mat twice in the first round. Just goes to show, being all muscle doesn't mean much if you don't have the real skills, and his opponent had those for sure. Is this the BJJ version of Gator's death roll? Comment down below. So this dude started running his mouth at the gym, and a 16-year-old kid decided to step up.
See? He's ass. What about you? You missed.
And man, the kid put on a show, ducking punches like a pro, landing clean shots, and having the whole gym cheering him on. Then we have a Taekwondo black belt who had great mastery of his skills, but his opponent seemed to make fun of him before the fight. However, the moment the fight started, it was an entirely different story. The black belt fought like a video game character, so graceful, yet deadly. This guy said he was a street fighter, but all he ever did was pick on people smaller than him. When he finally went up against a real fighter, he got totally humbled. No footwork, no technique. He looked like a cartoon character out there. Two girls were goofing around, smacking their guy opponent like it was all fun and games, but little did they know our guy wasn't a simp at all. This dude really thought fighting a retired boxer would be a piece of cake, but it ended up being the toughest beatdown of his whole bully life. Another internet tough guy started bragging about his so-called fighting skills and even refused to wear headgear, saying it was for women and that his chin could take anything. Well, that confidence didn't last long. Just a few punches in and he got completely exposed. This next guy made fun of his opponent for being shorter, but when it came time to settle things in the ring, he ended up regretting every bit of that trash talk. Then we've got this girl who really thought she could hold her own in a street boxing match against a guy. She started off strong, landing a few clean shots, but once the guy stopped holding back, it was game over. This cocky dude had no problem throwing hands with anyone. He was on a roll, beating everyone in his path, and it clearly went straight to his head. When he stepped in against his next opponent, an older guy, he didn't hold back on the trash talk, mocking him for his age and even throwing a cheap shot before the fight began. But the moment the real fight started, the veteran absolutely wrecked him. One savage kick later, and it looked like the guy got reset to factory settings. Then we have Charlie Zelenoff, one of the biggest cowards there is. He has his own fake gym and has claimed hundreds of victories with no losses, all by challenging absolute beginners. One day, he bit off more than he could chew when he went up against Floyd Mayweather Sr., and things didn't go as planned. After getting absolutely bashed, he resorted to a sucker punch on the old man, and well, the gym wasn't having any of that. So this guy shows up to a street boxing match acting like he's mastered the entire sport, but wait till you hear where he got his training.
I'm not a fighter, but I watched a YouTube video.
He learned the #1 rule of fighting: never guard your face and always keep your hands down at your sides. So this dude in the green t-shirt had been talking smack about the fighters from this gym all over the internet, But to give him some credit, he actually showed up to prove his point. The thing is, he got smacked in the face over 50 times. He had no real skills or strength, but you gotta hand it to him. His chin held up like a champ. This guy didn't know the first thing about boxing, but he was way too confident. So much so that he stepped into the ring wearing flip-flops and loose pants like he was just out for a stroll. And if that wasn't wild enough, his opponent was an absolute beast who wasted no time showing him just how bad of a decision that was.
There you go, boy. That pressure with the jab, boy. 30 seconds.